Hi everyone! The wonderful Betsy of Make Up Your Mind tagged me with the Eyeshadow Junkie tag, and she tagged me right before Christmas, if I remember correctly. And unfortunately we were all sick. We had a stomach bug over Christmas, over the holidays, and we just we passed it along. We shared brotherly, I guess, which wasn't too good, honestly, especially because it was the holidays and we were all feeling kind of crappy. But now we're back again, and I am glad to say that actually this extra time helped me think about what my answers are to the questions. So I was debating for quite a while, honestly, because I wasn't sure which eyeshadows and products I would actually pick. And with what I have next to me right now, I think I actually have a pretty good answer to all of the questions. There are some that might change eventually if I find new products, which I'm still working on, since I'm going cruelty-free. But for now, I have to say I'm very happy with what is right next to me. So first up is my favorite drugstore line, and for this I actually have two answers, and it depends. If I choose overall favorite drugstore line, it has to be Wet n Wild, and that is because Wet n Wild just is. If I choose my favorite drugstore line of eyeshadows overall, without taking anything into consideration, it actually has to be Wet n Wild, and I don't have a lot of Wet n Wild shadows here, to be honest. I have two trios, and I have this palette here, the Comfort Zone palette, which is pretty much well known all over. The thing is, I think they are very buttery, and the formulation is awesome, and the pigmentation is just very good. But the catch is, Wet n Wild is not easily accessible in Germany. So for me, if I want to get Wet n Wild, I actually am lucky enough that about 25 minutes from me there's a store that actually carries Wet n Wild, but they don't have a lot of products to choose from. So that's where I would get my Wet n Wild foundation, for example, just to give you an idea. But they don't have too many of the eyeshadow palettes. They don't have the Fergie line. They don't have, there's so many things they just don't have. So Wet n Wild is hard to come by, and not only here in this area, it's in general, it's a thing here in this country. There's only a limited number of stores that actually sell Wet n Wild, so if I'm going to go with availability, it has to be Catrice. The thing is, Catrice is easily available. I can get this at the most common drugstores here. And I have a lot of Catrice products in my collection, honestly, so you might have seen my collection checkups or stash checkups earlier in 2015. I have, or even my Catrice video. There are so many great products out there in their line, and eyeshadows is definitely one of the products I love about Catrice. And they will pop up in a few of these categories. But for starters, these are the single eyeshadows that I haven't depotted yet. I also have a quad, and I think I depotted all my duos. And then these are the single eyeshadows that I have depotted that I haven't used up yet. And I have to say, I just love them. They are easily available. They are relatively smooth. For me, they don't apply well on the back of my hand for some reason. On my eyelid, I don't have any issues. I mean, I always use a primer anyway, so that might help. But all in all, I love the pigmentation, the shade range. As you can see right here, we have a nice dark foresty green. We have a teal shade and a lighter teal shade. There's orange. There are some great neutrals. If you see this black down here, which is the captain of the Black Pearl, you can see how it is very shimmery. This shimmer I have issues having it show up on my lid, but mostly I'd also blend out with black, so that might be part of the reason. Then what else do we have? I have more greenish aqua shades. They have nice matte shadows these days. And then I have my liquid metal here. This is a very, very shimmery eyeshadow, and I hope I can make this show up. This is a rose gold. So I just love these eyeshadows, and if it were availability only that made me decide on this part, it would be Catrice hands down. Since I can get a hold of Wet n Wild kind of easily, I would say Catrice is a very, very close second. But then the next question is about my favorite eyeshadow primer, and here for me I have two answers again, because I actually think for me depends on whether I just want a simple primer or if I want a colored base, which these days works as a primer for me as well. For a simple primer, I'm doing it again. I'm filming this video the second time because the first time I filmed it, I had about 40 minutes of material that I would have to cut down, and I was filming while I was having my son right in this room with me, and he was drawing and he kept showing me his new pictures, so I was very distracted. But alas, eyeshadow primers. My favorite eyeshadow primer, if I only want a primer and something to apply the eyeshadow and have it stay all day, I would go with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I haven't tried the Essence I Love Backstage, I believe is their eyeshadow primer. I haven't tried that one yet because it is too dark for me for my skin tone, because it is a tad bit colored. And I haven't tried the Too Faced Shadow Insurance yet. So I will do these, try these eventually. I will get a hold of them eventually, but for the time being I have this little deluxe size sample. I have the Eden as a sample, and I have two of the, I think it's Sin and, what is the golden one? Anyway, you know what I mean. I have the primer potions in a couple shades, and they are very, I don't think it really makes a difference, at least not to me. So I have a lot of Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion to go through. But if I want a colored base, I have to go with a product that has currently been discontinued, and I really, really hope they are bringing it back. They are the Catrice Made to Stay Long Lasting eyeshadows. They are wonderful in their pigmentation and in the color range as well. It wasn't overly big or anything, but they had, I believe, 8 or 10 different colors that you could get, and it was just amazing. I loved their eyeshadow bases. So here we have a yellowy golden shade, which was called Jennifer's Gold Rush. And then I have a mauvey purple shade, which probably doesn't show up properly on camera. This is called Movie Star, and I love both of these a lot. Unfortunately, they are the last ones I have left, but I've had these for, let me think, I've had these for 3 or 4 years, if not longer, and they are still creamy, and they didn't pull away from the sides at all. Just looking to make sure. Yeah, they haven't pulled from the sides at all, whereas I bought 2 Maybelline Color Tattoos like 3 years ago. Now it's 3.5 years, and I had to throw them away earlier this year. And I have some MAC paint pots that are also not as old as these two here, and they're also pulling away from the sides, and they're starting to really get a bit drier in texture. So I like these a lot. I don't know why they discontinued them, because they were just amazing, and hopefully they will bring them back. Then we're coming to my first ever eyeshadow purchase. And as far as I remember, they were Maybelline or L'Oreal eyeshadows that came in a roll-on. So basically you had the loose eyeshadow pigment, and it came in a roll-on container, like the roll-on perfumes these days. And it was eyeshadow. I had a baby pink shade and I had a baby blue shade, and back in the day, it was, what, the late 1990s, I guess? I really loved them. And I have to say I'm glad I don't have them anymore. I think threw them out quite a few years ago. The colors just don't suit me at all, and I don't know what I was thinking, but it was that time, and probably all of us did some bad makeup decisions makeup wise. So yeah, I had baby pink and baby blue eyeshadow in a roll-on, and it didn't last. It didn't stay on, and it barely showed up. and I probably had fallout all over my face because it was very glittery, or at least very shimmery. Yeah, these roll-ons, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I looked like a disco ball in the right light. But those were the days when I started out wearing makeup. We're coming to a difficult one. The best drugstore eyeshadow dupe. And this was one that I really had a hard time with because, for one, I'm not very good at finding dupes. At least that's what I think. And then I'm also not one who actually purchases drugstore eyeshadows because they are a dupe of something. So I had to really go through my collection, and I found two eyeshadows that are very similar. So the first one is in my current Project Use It Up. It is this shadow right here. This is Max Woodwind. And this is a swatch of that. And a relatively close eyeshadow in my collection is a Catrice eyeshadow in Mr. Copper's Fields. This one is it. And this is Woodwind, this is Mr. Copper's Fields. You can see Woodwind is a bit more pigmented and more orangey, which you can also see in the swatch. This is Woodwind and this is Mr. Copper's Fields, so MAC and Catrice. And if you blend them out, there is still a significant difference, but they do a similar job on my eyelid usually. So I'm gonna go with it. I don't really have any dupes. Like I said, it was very hard for me to find even those two that are semi-close in shade, but yeah. Honestly, they look nice together. So the dupe question was really tough for me. The next part is the most underrated eyeshadow product, and for me this is actually a bit of a combination product. I ended up deciding that the Urban Decay Naked on the Run palette is for me the most underrated eyeshadow product, because while it's not a eyeshadow palette in general, you can see here it has a mascara, it has an eyeliner, one of their glide-on eye pencils, it has a lip gloss, then it has 5 eyeshadows, a highlighter, a blush, and a bronzer. I think that these eyeshadows are actually very nice for on the go if you're just traveling and you want to take it easy. If you take this, you're actually good to go. It's not all that versatile, but honestly, if you're on vacation, do you really necessarily need to bring 5 different palettes? I don't think so. So this is a product that I would love to hear more of, and actually I'm debating seeing how many looks I can make with just this palette, and maybe try to at least take pictures for Instagram or something. So if you're interested in that, please let me know in the comments, because I love this palette. And even I'm not getting it enough love, honestly. The next question is for my favorite eyeshadow single, and this was really easy for me, because when I think of single eyeshadows that I just reach for very often, it has to be my Alberti Mono eyeshadow in Warm Vanilla. This is a matte cream shade right here, and you've seen this often in my videos, I believe, because up until recently this was the eyeshadow I was using for I don't know how long as my brow bone highlight and my blending shade out on the upper part of my eye makeup. So this is just a wonderful eyeshadow and I cannot get enough of it. The next question was about my favorite cream eyeshadows, and they have to be the Catrice eyeshadows. I have Jennifer's Gold Rush here again and Movie Star. They are just wonderful. I don't know how to explain this best, but they are creamy and pigmented, but you can still sheer them out, and you have enough time to blend them in properly before they start to set. So these are definitely my favorite cream shadows. Then we're coming to my favorite neutral eyeshadow, and this has to be from this trio from Wet n Wild here. This is the Walking on Eggshells trio. and it is definitely this eyeshadow right here at the bottom. It's the eyelid shade, and I like that it has a bit of a sheen and it makes me look awake instantly. So this is very easy. If I don't even have time to really blend an eyeshadow out, this is what I would use. Then my favorite colored eyeshadow is actually part of the Urban Decay Electric palette. And you can see I still have this in its box because I just love the box and I don't want the box to disappear because this is just so beautiful, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with the box. But alas, my favorite eyeshadow is Fringe right here. It's this nice teal shade here with I think for me the right amount of green and blue, and I just love this eyeshadow. I don't use it often enough, unfortunately, because I don't have time to apply makeup in the morning, really, because I take a long time to get ready anyway. So this is an eyeshadow that when I have the time, I love playing around with it. And the final part is what, in my opinion, is the best ever eyeshadow palette. And this was a very tough one as well, because I have, I believe, 16 eyeshadow palettes right now, and I love them all. But if I think of which eyeshadow palette gets the most use, it is this guy here. It's the Urban Decay Naked 1 palette. Anyway, I love this eyeshadow palette because you have a nice variety of lighter shades right here, and then you have a dark, medium to darker tones here. What I don't get is these two eyeshadows right here, because they are just, for me, Creed and Gunmetal, which are this dark gray and this gunmetal gray. They don't fit in this palette for me because they are cool toned, whereas the other eyeshadows are warm toned. But all in all, this is the eyeshadow palette I use the most. It doesn't show too much use because I try to also use my other palettes on a regular basis, but when I first got this, I would use this and exclusively this for I don't know how many weeks. And this has definitely the most dips going on. And it is definitely a palette that if I would ever pan this, I would have to repurchase it as soon as I'm done. Now for the tagging part here, I have a short list of people that I would love to see this video from, because I think they will bring a variety of answers to the whole mix. And my list is definitely not complete. I sat down and I wrote a list of names for, I don't even know. I think I sat down for about 20 minutes trying to figure out who I think should do this video. And I often came up with names, and then I searched YouTube and I realized that, hey, they did it already or they had been tagged already. So I hope this is not the case for these people. If it is, sorry, but not really sorry. I would love to see your answer still. On to the actual tagging. I would love to see this from two wonderful ladies who are cruelty-free and vegan, because I think they both will bring a wonderful variety of eyeshadows and products that I either haven't tried yet or that I haven't heard of yet. And I think that might be the case for many of you. And these are Leticia from XO Love Lady and Rian from Rian HY or Wife Life. I think they both will just have wonderful answers to all of these questions, and I cannot wait to see them. Then, the next person I would love to see a video of for this tag would be Pretty Pistol 86 or Cherish. Cherish is actually the person who got me to film YouTube videos, so for me it would be amazing to see what her answers would be. Also, I'm pretty sure she uses more cool toned eyeshadows, whereas I just go for warmer toned eyeshadows for the most part, so it would be fun to see her answers. And I also know that she hasn't been on YouTube for the past couple months, but she has slowly been coming back and editing and uploading her videos that she had filmed in the past couple months, and I think this might be a fun video for her to come back, so Cherish, please. And then Mary from Maria's Diary, I think I would love to see her answers. Also, Candy Powder and Blush, I would like to see your answers. Then Strawberry Sweet and Roanna VM, because I haven't seen too many videos of you, girl. What's going on there? You were panning like crazy. I hope you did. You got some progress done with your last project pan. What was it? 25 pan. So that being said, if I haven't tagged you and if you haven't done this tag yet, please do it. I would love to see your answers, and leave me a link down below. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!